Welcome to this week's St. Clair County Board of Commissioners meeting. The types of business that occur at these meetings include public hearings, official voting on actions by the Board of Commissioners, presentations by departments of the county, and recognition of service that makes our county great. As your elected representatives, the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners is committed to improving the lives of all our residents while preparing county government to meet the demands of the future. In order to do that, we need to share our thoughts and plans with you. More importantly, we need you to share your thoughts, concerns, and opinions with us. We encourage you to come and experience the process by attending any of these meetings. They occur every first and third Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. at the St. Clair County Administration Building at 200 Grand River Avenue in Port Huron.
Good evening and welcome to the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners Human Service Committee. Please stand for the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Could I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner McConnell,
Here.
Commissioner Tamian, Commissioner Heidemann,
Here.
Commissioner Bohm, Commissioner Rushing, Commissioner Graytop,
Here.
Commissioner Dunn.
Here. Item number 2, additions, deletions, changes to the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move the acceptance of the agenda as presented.
Support.
There's a motion and support. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Citizens to be heard. Are there any citizens to be heard from the Human Service Committee? Seeing none, we will move on to updates from commissioners. Are there any updates?
None here.
Nothing.
You know what? I'm going to do, because you're not Carl, and Carl has big shoes to fill, and you'll do a great job, but with Carl resigning, it's going to be, Carl was very, very knowledgeable, very steady. I always enjoyed working with Carl because he never came unglued about anything. He was very down to earth and quiet, and a lot like Mr. Rushing and a lot of the other people that we have. But I'm going to miss Carl. So I know he couldn't attend tonight's meeting, and I think we're going to accept the resignation tonight.
Under Ways and Means
Ways and
agenda.
Means.
Under the Ways and Means. So that's all I had.
Anybody else? I couldn't agree with Greg anymore. When I talked to Carl after he called me and said he was resigning, I told him it's been a privilege and an honor to serve with him, and he will truly be missed by this board. Okay, moving on. Conceptual initiatives?
None.
Nothing tonight. Old business? Nothing. New business? We have one item from the Health Department for a freezer purchase.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we send this on to the full board.
Support.
Yeah.
Motion and support. Is there any discussion? Seeing, we need a roll call for this.
No.
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion
We will
passes.
in 2 weeks.
Okay. Any other human service matters anybody like to discuss? Information only.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I move that we accept the information only, the Huron County resolution, the Health Department points of interest, the Commission on Aging resignation, and the Library Board resignation.
Do I have support?
Support.
Is there any discussion on any of these topics? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion pass. Number
Mr.
10, receive and file.
Mr. Chair, I move we receive and file packets regarding Human Services Committee.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
I would so move.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 That was pretty painless.
Carl never
Good
was
luck.
that fast. That's pretty good. I would call the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners Judiciary and Public Safety Committee to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Tamian, Commissioner Heidemann,
Here.
Commissioner Dunn,
Here.
Commissioner Bohm, Commissioner Rushing, Commissioner Graytop,
Here.
Commissioner McConnell.
Here. Thank you. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda?
Motion to accept the agenda as presented.
Support.
We have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any citizens wishing to be heard? Seeing none. Are there any updates?
Not for me.
I'm just going to throw one in here too. A friend of mine from Yale, Jim Cronin, who was a past county commissioner, passed away, and his funeral was yesterday. Jim was and I don't know exactly how long he was on the board. I don't know if it was 2 terms, but he then became an employee, and he worked at the airport for quite a few years, and then finished his employment with the county at the rest area, working as part of the road commission. And Jim was very active. He was mayor of Yale for maybe 12 years. Member of the Lions Club, just very, very active. Had pancreatic cancer and made it a couple years after he found out, but I just wanted to throw that in. Yes?
I also knew Jim through the Lions Club. He was district governor for a period of time there, and really a great guy. Always went out of his way to talk to you and things like that. Probably got his training in those sort of behaviors from working for the county,
I would assume.
I would think.
Okay. Yes.
Also, I wanted to say that under this particular committee that Justin, our Wes Miller, our director from Emergency Services, is on the scene, on the job with the water situation. Kudos to him and his entire staff. It's really the downriver area that's getting hit the hardest right now, but we have been holding our own, although it is creeping up, and he will tell you, he sends me texts on a regular basis, it is creeping up, but so far, it's kind of holding its own right now. So again, we're advising all citizens to protect their home, protect their properties, do what they can. Townships will help you as best they can, sandbags and sand and things of that nature. The county is out there trying to take care of the infrastructure, the roads and the water plants and sewer plants and things of that nature. So everybody does their part. We'll get through this without any real serious issues. So Justin, thank you again for all you're doing.
All right, thank you. New business, we have a proclamation recognizing Kevin, and I'm not going there, from Clay Township Police Department for 28 years of service.
I'll make a motion that we do this for final action.
Support.
We have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That
And
will be presented to him at his retirement party, June 21st.
by you.
It'll be presented on the 21st.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Item 7B, the Recovery Court Program and Grant Applications.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to this be sent to the full board.
Support?
We have motion and support. We have Jim here. Would you like to talk a little bit about this?
This may be more for the audience than the board, but just in case. Before I do it, let me just give a little shout out to a couple people, because what happened on this recovery court was the recovery court really isn't a court. It's more of, I call it a program within a court, and it's a specialty court that the state court allows county courts to run. Typical ones that you will see are recovery courts for drugs, alcohol, mental health, veterans court. So there, it's a treatment court. Judge Kelly approached me late March and said, hey, I'd like to entertain the idea of doing a treatment court for drugs and alcohol. We could have done 2 separate courts, or we could do a hybrid. The state court is pretty lenient on that, so we chose to do a hybrid. Anyway, in order to get this going, I knew nothing about this. I just want to give a shout out to some people. Dina Alder-Dice in our accounting was very helpful with the grant. Rebecca Sheriffin from our community health coordinator had already been through this process, so I met with her and she was very helpful. The probation office, I met with them immediately, contacted them and let them know that Judge Kelly had given me these orders to get this going, and they really embraced this whole thing, so they were really right on it. And that's Doug Jones, Amy Armstrong, and Darcy Shaffrin. Judge Monahan, of course, who volunteered to be the drug court judge. And then our business partners, which included the prosecutor, the sheriff, the undersheriff, community mental health, Deb Johnson, and Karen Bauer from her accounting, and also the PHIP director, Jim Johnson. So this was a pretty big undertaking. We identified all the stakeholders, got us together, decided what the scope of our project was going to be. Initially, everybody said, hey, let's do 50 people. Again, the probation office was really excited about this. We went out and did a couple site visits to other courts. We found out that maybe 15 to 20 is probably more likely in our first year. So we chose, unlike other courts, we chose to partner with community mental health for our treatment providers. A lot of courts go out and use external treatment providers. We thought that'd be a win-win for the county, that we're using a county resource. So hopefully that works out really well. We're really excited about that and working with Deb Johnson's department. So with that said, the grant was opened up April 1st, and it had a May 31st deadline. I would have liked to have brought this to you by the last board member so it could have been approved, last board meeting, so it could have been approved before the grant deadline. However, I knew that wasn't going to be possible as soon as I looked at it, because I would have had to have everything together to you by the end of April for the May board meeting. So I immediately reached out to Carrie and Danielle, who have both been very helpful in this as well, and explained the situation. And since the grant itself is a zero match grant from the county, this requires no county funding, our administrator was able to approve it locally and then have the board approve it after the fact. So if all goes well, we'll be up and running October the 1st. We still have quite a bit of work to do. We still have some procedures and policies that we're working on, getting a memorandum of understanding and a legislative action order that the court has to do, and we have some training that we have to attend. But we're certainly on track for October 1st. The target group on this is going to be people who are involved in the court system, so they've been arrested for something. It'll either be a misdemeanor or a felony that's reduced to misdemeanor, and it will be somebody who's nonviolent. Okay. The way somebody will get into the program is they will be recommended. The recommendation usually will come from a judge, law enforcement, but it could come from anyone in the public. So if somebody understands that someone has a problem. And the program itself isn't easy, okay? It's $500 to get into the program. So right out there is bad, there's a cost. Now that cost has to be paid by the end of the program. And the program is probably going to be around an 18-month program. And the dirty little secret is if somebody is really, really broke, we can give incentives and probably try to work with them to reduce some of that cost. But as a whole, there is a cost that these individuals will have to pay prior to graduating. It requires a lot of community service. It'll require them to get GEDs. It'll require them to make amends with people that they've hurt, a lot of counseling. So it's a lot of work. It's probably more work than if the person would just say, you know what, send me to probation and I'll just take the probation route. Let me pay my fine and I'll go probation. So then you ask yourself, well, why would someone want to come into the program then if it's more work than just simply taking probation? And the answer is, this is an opportunity for someone to turn their lives around. Someone who recognizes that they have a problem, they've been unable to beat that problem by themselves, they're destroying their lives, and now they can get themselves into formal counseling, they can get themselves into support groups, and they get some peers and mentors to help them out, and hopefully change their lives around. And so that's the purpose of this. It's to break that recidivism of sending the people to jail, having them come back out, having them go back into jail. And the one thing I wanted to mention is, so the grant itself was $123,000, I believe it is, and of that, I did ask for $17,000. I was kind of cautioned not to ask for any funds from for our personnel because they considered that we were padding it. Okay. And that's not the term, I forget the term, but anyway, I was padding the grant because we were already paying for those positions. And there are some truths, we are paying for those positions, but clearly those positions have to take on other cases or do some other work. And clearly the drug court coordinator is a new position and the drug court clerk is a new position. So I just tried to justify it as strong as I could in the grant and said, these are new positions, we're not padding this, and it's $17,000 of the $123,000. Now, do I think we're going to get $123,000? No. I don't know what we're going to get, but other courts have said in the past that sometimes they've received half, sometimes they've received more than half. So what happens if, say, we receive 60,000? We run a smaller program. We don't run 10 to 15. We run 1 to 5 if that's what we have to do, or 5 to 10. I think that's it's hard to speculate, and it's hard to speculate what the state's mentality is, but I suspect it's their way of saying that they want to see a program up and running first, before they start kicking out a lot of money. And I guess I can respect that. On the other hand, I put in for the funding for those 2 positions, even though we may not get them, simply because I suspect this program is going to be a success. I suspect we're going to continue it, and it's going to give me more leverage when we put in for it in the future, that I keep asking for these positions. So we'll see. Hopefully, eventually, I get these positions funded. So with that said, that's pretty well the program, unless you have any questions on her.
Good, thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Commissioner Greatop?
Jim, will this be very similar to the way Judge Tomlinson runs the mental health court?
I really can't answer that, and because I've never sat in Judge Tomlinson's mental health court to see how he runs it. So I suspect the answer is yes. What's going to happen is we're going to have the treatment providers and the social workers and the judge and everybody all meet for a pre-meeting every hearing. And way this works is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. We're doing it in 3 phases. The first phase, people will come up literally a couple times a week. They'll be there 2-3 times a week. Heavy drug testing. And then what happens is we look at and evaluate what their progress is. We make that recommendation to the judge, and then the judge has his hearing.
Is there such a thing as a graduation or a release from the program so that these people have something to look forward to at the end?
There is, yes. There's a big celebration, and we make a big deal out of the celebration and the incentives throughout the program. So
They do the same thing at mental health court?
Yep. So if they do real well on something, we can give them, maybe a gas card or a gift card, and try to keep the incentive going. And so we're looking forward to it. I think it's going to work out really, really well, and I'm excited about it. I think it's well needed here. I don't have to tell you guys our location. We're right at the 94, 69, M25, M29 corridor, the Blue Water Bridge, and I think we're right in the location of, drug zero,
Perfect. Commissioner Heidemann?
Just a question and a comment. My question is, if there was a criminal charge levied, will their record be expunged if they successfully complete the program?
No.
It won't be. No. Second, just a comment. If the drug court is half as successful as the mental health court, it'll be a win-win for the community. I still remember when I first was elected to the board back in 2003, and at that time Sheriff Lane made the comment that the jail was the largest mental health facility in the county. And with drug and substance abuse issues, I suspect that the sheriff would say the same thing today about the jail or the intervention center.
That's probably true.
Anything else? No, sir. Jim, thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much.
Jim,
Appreciate
thank
your time.
So we have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7C, the fiscal year 2019 Marine Safety Program Grant Agreement.
Mr. Chairman, move to send it on to the full board.
Second?
We have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D, the 2019 Port Security Grant.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that this be sent to the full board.
Support.
We have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Boy, do we need money for both of those items.
Certainly. Item E, Resolution 1906 for Animal Control Fee Schedule.
Make a motion, we send this on to the full board.
I would support it.
We have motion and support. Erica Stroman is with us tonight, if you'd like to say a few words. I said that to Jim, and he went on for 8 minutes. I'm telling you, you got a minute and a half. I didn't keep track of Jim's, but we can see it pretty easy up here.
3-minute time limit,
Mine
Jim.
are pretty self-explanatory, so. One of the big things is we're charging, it's state law to license your dog or puppy at 4 months of age. Majority of your veterinarians in the area will not spay or neuter your puppies at that age, so people tend to not come in and get their license when they're supposed to put off till they get that puppy spayed or neutered. And now with our license cycle being with rabies vaccine, sometimes they don't get their puppy spayed or neutered till 6 or 8 months, but they're vaccinated at 4. So now they're coming in, buying their license, and they can only get it for 6 or 7 months because they wanted to get that discounted rate. So in the previous county that I was in, we offered a puppy license. So the license is the same rate as a spayed or neutered dog. And then at that point where they are old enough to be spayed or neutered, in this case 6 months, they would then go to if they chose not to spay or neuter their dog at that point, they would then pay the higher rate. But at this point, this would just be a $12 fee, which is what we charge spayed or neutered pets, to encourage them to come in and get their license at the right amount of time to take advantage of that full cycle of the rabies and not be penalized because they didn't get their 4-month-old puppy fixed right away. So that's kind of why we wanted to do that. Microchipping, I mean, dog retention is a big thing in this county, and that's an irremovable identification. So if we can increase microchips in the county, then that would help us reunite pets and their owners, identify dogs running at large or issues with them. If they cause trouble with the neighbors and we pick them up, we can identify who their owner is, as well as a lot of people like to have a microchip, and we microchip all the animals that leave the shelter as adopted. So we have those, and we have the capabilities to do that in the shelter, so why not offer that service to the public? We get asked about that a lot. Do you guys microchip here? Do you microchip here? So why not offer the service to them? It's pretty quick and easy to do, so.
Eric, if you have a microchip reader, right, or however they are, wands, I don't know what they are, can you tell from anybody that's put a chip in their dog whose they would be? Or is it just the ones that you put in?
As long as the biggest issue we run into is people don't register the chips. So once you get it's the size of a grain of rice, it's just a little, like a barcode basically that goes under their skin. When we wand them, it's anywhere from a 5 to a 9-digit number will pop up, and we can run that in databases. As long as the person has registered the chip to their name, address, and phone number will be given to us from the company of who owns the dog. The chips that we use in the shelter, because we will cycle those through the program that we use at the shelter, automatically registers it to the person when we put the chip in for the dog. And we hope that they're buying their license too at the same time, or they have a license. So it all links together to their email, address, and phone number. If they don't update it, sometimes we struggle with that, but for the most part, people keep that updated.
Okay.
So it's good ID.
Mr. Heidemann.
Hi, just a comment, Erica. Really impressed with the services that you're trying to provide out there.
Thank you.
Putting in the chips, and also cremation of pets if it's requested by the
You know,
pet
people
owner.
need that opportunity, I feel, for the cremation. The company we use offers that, so why not use that service as well and offer that to the public? Because a lot of people like that, so something to remember their pet with. So.
Good.
Okay.
Does anybody have any other questions? If you have a chance, you need to go out and see the shelter and see
Come out
what's
and
going
visit
on.
us. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion in support for Resolution 1906. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are there any other judiciary public safety matters at this time? Seeing none,
Motion to receive and file?
Support?
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn?
So
Move
moved.
we adjourn.
Or, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
You just make that up.
I'd like to call the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners Environmental and Public Works Committee meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll?
Commissioner McConnell,
Here.
Commissioner Tamian, Commissioner Dunn,
Here.
Commissioner Bohm, Commissioner Rushing, Commissioner Graytop,
Yes, here.
Commissioner Heidemann.
Here. At this time, I would entertain a motion to Delete from the agenda the removal of the light station duplex roof restoration contract.
So moved.
Support?
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I make a motion, we accept the amended agenda.
Support?
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Any citizens to be heard? Seeing none, any updates from commissioners? Seeing none, any conceptual initiatives from administration?
None.
No old business, new business. A has been canceled. The landfill borrow area stream relocation. Matt is here, if we had any questions for Matt. Or is it was pretty
I
self-explanatory.
would make a motion to send to the full board.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. At this time, we have the Smiths Creek Landfill Activities Report. I would entertain a motion that it be received and filed.
Support? So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's been, all in favor, the motion passed. Other environmental public works matters, seeing none. Information only, the monthly park and recreation financial documents are here.
Motion to receive and file?
Support?
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. This
Motion to
time,
receive and
receive and
file.
it's been made.
Support.
It's been supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are
We
adjourned.
already adjourned.
I would have liked to have been a kid in your class when you were a teacher.
Yeah, for sure.
4 minutes and you're at recess.
I'd like to call to order the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners Ways and Means Committee. If the clerk would take the roll, please.
Commissioner McConnell,
Here.
Commissioner Tamian, Commissioner Heidemann,
Here.
Commissioner Dunn,
Here.
Commissioner Bohm, Commissioner Rushing, Commissioner Greatop.
Here. Additions or deletions to the agenda?
I would move that we would add item A, move item A, animal control manning table requests to item 7D, E, F.
F.
Yeah.
Sure you weren't in his class at
Well, I
school?
saw the E and I went the wrong way.
F it is. Do you have a second?
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda?
I move that we accept the agenda as amended.
Second?
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Citizens to address the the Ways and Means Committee. Sorry, going back about 8 years here. Seeing none, there are no conceptual initiatives, no old business, new business. Item A, employment agreement with Annette Mercantile, MD, MPH.
I would move that we send that to the full board.
Second?
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 7B, District 2, resignation.
I would move this be sent to the full board.
We need to do that
Is
for
this final?
final action, don't we?
This final?
Yeah, this is Carl's resignation, so it's effective today.
Okay. I would move to accept Carl's, Tamian's resignation
I would-
as presented.
I would support with regret.
Yes.
Okay.
We also need to set the timeline and in a special meeting if we're going to interview candidates. Just so we know.
Go, Carrie, you,
So right now, the proposed timeline is candidates that are interested can submit their application and letter of interest to the county clerk's office up until 4 p.m. on June 12th. It is the board's intent to want to have a special meeting on June 13th at 6 p.m. here, where all interested candidates will be able to just speak briefly on their interest on being commissioner and why they want to be commissioner. The board will then narrow down the candidates, and final interviews will happen on June 20th prior to your full board meeting in Marysville. And at that time, a candidate will be selected.
That meeting will be held at 5 o'clock, is it?
Yes, Yep, the interviews will be at 5, and then your regular meeting will happen at 6.
All right, Commissioner
So-
McConnell, you made the motion?
Commissioner Dunn.
Commissioner Dunn, you made the motion?
Yes.
All right, and all of this additional information will be part of your motion if you accept that,
Yes, sir.
all right? And the
I sup-
second?
I supported, so I
Okay,
do.
so we have the motion to accept Carl's resignation, along with setting the timelines for the replacement. Okay? Discussion? Howard?
You know, I've been on this board a long time, and it's really kind of difficult to see people that are able to contribute so much to this board to leave. And, you know, whether it was Tom Riley, when he left, you came in, or in this case, Carl leaving, and back Denny Kearns when he passed away. But anyway, we're going to miss him.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7C, Resolution 1907, 2019, Summer Tax Levy. This is, gentlemen, for final action.
So move?
Support?
Discussion? Roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Parking lot repair project.
I move this be sent to the full board.
Second?
Motion and support. I see Ron Marsh is in the audience. If you guys have any questions about parking lots, striping, finishing.
Maybe Ron just wants to get up and talk because he,
Ron, you're not jumping up there, so I'm assuming you're good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
These guys all went to college. They can figure out what you're talking about. All right. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 7E, Animal Control Manning Table Request, Kennel Custodian.
I make a motion that we send this to the full board.
Support?
Motion and support. Any questions or discussion from any of the board members? As long as Erica's here, you could ask her, but it seemed pretty straightforward to me, gentlemen. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item F, which is the Animal Control Manning Table Request, veterinary technician. I believe that information was at your tables.
That's for a full-time position?
Yes.
Moving them to full-time, that is correct.
I would make the motion to send this to the full board.
Second?
Okay, discussion.
And this is just an 8,000-ish increase to the
For the
budget.
rest of this year?
For the balance of the year. And we're good
Okay.
with that.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Nothing further? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Other,
We receive and file packets?
Support?
discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any other Ways and Means Matters?
Move we adjourn.
Support?
So you're going to send something out to us on,
All in favor?